Welcome now to the 7th video in Module 1. I'm going to look at installation options, and we have 3 of them listed here: an upgrade, a clean install, and push button reset. Now, we've already looked at push button reset in the past. We said that this is also called, and let's go to it here. Let me open up settings and then update and security and recovery. And we've already looked at this reset this PC, which is also called push button reset. We kind of call this a reinstallation of Windows 10. If you've already installed it and you have problems with it, you can reinstall it here. But let's say that you don't have Windows 10 yet. Now you have 2 other options: upgrade and clean install. Upgrade if you have a Windows 7, Windows 8, Windows 8.1, and you want to make it a Windows 10. You can certainly do that. Or a clean install, that is to say, I don't have any Windows and I just want to put a Windows 10 on my system. Now, these are done in 2 different ways. If I'm going to upgrade, I'm going to need a DVD, a USB, a mounted ISO. We'll talk about those in a little bit, or the media creation tool. And again, I'm going to talk about this more later on, so I'm not going to dwell on it now. But I'm going to launch one of these things from within my current Windows. In other words, I'm going to open Windows, log on, my Windows 7, my Windows 8, my Windows 8.1, open it up, log on, and then launch the setup from one of these tools. That's how I'm going to do an upgrade. Now, if I'm going to do a clean install, then I need a DVD or a USB that I can boot to. I can boot to the actual DVD or boot to the USB rather than to my hard drive, and then launch the installer. That's how I would make a clean install. Now, if you're doing a clean install or an update and you're on Windows 7 machine, you can keep your apps and your data by doing an upgrade, but you cannot keep your settings. So all of your personalization settings on your desktop and all that are going to go away, but at least your apps and your data will stay. If you're running Windows 8 or 8.1, you can keep your apps, your data, and your settings. So that's kind of nice if you're upgrading. Now, you do have options if you're going to do a clean install. You certainly can back up your documents if you're using Windows 7. So you can still get your data, your documents, but you can't get your apps and your settings in this case. There's no way to really back those up and put them onto your Windows 10 machine. However, if you're running a Windows 8 or an 8.1, now you have the option of backing up your documents and your settings, but not your applications. So now you can back those things up, install Windows 10, and then put them back on your machine again. So there's some slight differences to what you can save and what you can't save, whether you're doing an upgrade or a clean install. Well, that's it for this section. Thank you for listening.